Good evening, everybody. It is your unfriendly tree-headed conjure woman, Mama Noyela. And tonight's lesson, we are going to discuss the topic of spiritual suicide. Okay? So, for those of you that did not think that that was a thing or that it was possible, yes, it is a thing, unfortunately, and it is very possible. So, we're going to get into this. So, when we are talking about spiritual suicide, this tends to be something that affects a lot of spiritually in tune beings. Okay. This again is something where people have, been through their journeys, they've been through certain amounts of healing, and to a certain degree, they know what they're supposed to do here. Or they know what they're supposed to do here and they don't want to do it. They're afraid of that calling, they're afraid of that purpose. So, in this instance, you'll have people that process their mission, but either they become very hyper focused on what they're supposed to do here, or they become very hypo focused for what they're supposed to do here. Meaning, if they're hyper focused on what they're supposed to do here, they're all about their mission. There is no other, path for it. There's no room for growth. There's no room for expansion. This is what they are here to do: is cut, is clean. That's it. That's it. So when you're on that hyper focus of your mission, you can send your body and your spirituality, including your energy, into overdrive. In the same way as when you are also trying to figure out your purpose, and then all of a sudden spirit will reveal to you your purpose, and instead of stepping forward, taking the responsibility and the accountability, taking charge of this new pathway, you may be the person that want to step back away from it instead, which again causes a sense of hypo focus. You're not as in tuned in onto what you were supposed to do. You're still sort of trying to live out your human experience because maybe you were called to do something very deep, some very deep spiritual work, and you just like, nah, I get what you're saying, but the way this is set up, it's just not gonna work for me. So in these instances, one certain spiritual beings here realize that they do have a purpose, and they may be meant to lead, or maybe meant to reach people in different ways, or minister to people in different ways, or doing a lot of community outreach because they are to heal or to help rebuild humanity and the structures of humanity, especially on the spiritual and mental level. So when you have those people that realize that journey, they tend to either give too much or they don't give enough. And when you have somebody that's giving too much, it sort of looks like they're posting all the time. You'll see videos every 5 seconds. You'll see posts every 5 seconds. They're always going to an event. There's always something. They're always into it in some shape, form, or fashion. And even if you are not one of those people that are actually out here, trying to reach the masses, you may be somebody who is seen as a beacon of light at work. And at your job, the minute you walk in the door, this person is talking to you, this person is talking to you, everybody is talking to you every single day. They're always telling you about their problems. They're always telling you about, some of the downfalls or things that they may come short with, and you are still that person that is spiritually in tune to give that kind of insight or wisdom to them, versus the hypo spiritual person who will see all of the spiritual things happening, knowing people that are coming to them are sort of in spiritual trouble, and they still will say, get somebody else to do it. I don't know what you're talking about. Or not only will they give it the brush aside, they'll even begin to talk negatively about it and sort of turn it around as a narcissistic point of maybe it's just you, because they don't want to have any kind of involvement for real, because it will put them in a place and space of responsibility that they do not want. They are not ready for, because that is just not what they feel is cut out for them. Now, the thing about spiritually innate beings or spiritually in tune beings, those of us that are called to be children of God and things of that nature, when we are doing our community service work in the spiritual community, When we're doing our community outreach, when we're doing readings, we're holding sessions, services, things of that nature, all of that energy exchanging back and forth from reattuning through Reiki sessions, all the way to doing exorcisms and and deliverance and cleansing homes and lands and things of that nature. All of that takes an energy exchange, okay? All of that takes a toll on not only your spiritual body, but also your physical body. So, this is why it is very important to be able to take care of both aspects, not just one. This is also where you will see some people begin to be just a little bit lazy. And this is a good thing sometimes to recall your energy. But when you are in the process of recalling your energy, it may not be a good thing to always recall your energy. Because if you have extended your energy on something negative or something in the past that is not of you anymore, the last thing you want to do is recall that energy back to you. And in certain situations and circumstances, if you were sick during a certain period in time, the last thing you want is for your energy to come back with that illness signature attached to it. That is not what you want to do if you are always recalling my energy. I recall my energy back from this. I recall my energy back from that. You might want to think about the mindset you were in and the position your body was in when you were actually releasing that energy, because it may have been something that you needed to get rid of instead of you always trying to recall your energy back. Stop that. So now we reach the when part of spiritual suicide. When does spiritual suicide tend to start showing its face? This is when people have sort of realized that either they've expelled too much energy to the community itself, or they have not given enough energy to protect themselves as they keep giving it away. And this is where a lot of us as spiritualists will either go through those three phases again. You will either fight, you will either flight, or you will freeze. And what this means is either you're going to fight, meaning you're going to do the necessary things that are needed for you to heal yourself, realign yourself and your body or your energy. That is your fight. Or you will do the flight. You will just drop everything where it is and just completely go ghost. You won't even go back to fix or heal even yourself. It's sort of like if you get in a fight, you sort of patch up the bruises and just keep it going versus actually dealing with the trauma of what actually happened to you. So yes, the surface trauma is healed up. You're good on the outside, but on the inside, you're still oozing, you're still bleeding, you're still going through all of that trauma. And then the third one, of course, again, is freeze. When you are experiencing all of this at one time and realize, oh my God, I done gave this person too much, or I done put too much into this, and I can't recall my energy back. This, like, and what you in it's an overloading process of your mental and your spiritual channels. And what you will end up doing is that third one, which is freezing, not doing anything at all. You don't run from the situation. You're not trying to fight in the situation either. You have just learned to accept the inevitable to be inevitable, and whatever is going to be is going to be. And at that point of acceptance, that is when you have to be aware of people who are willing to commit spiritual suicide. Now, what is some of the basis that comes along with spiritual suicide? Well, this is when you are ignoring the warning signs that your energy is becoming depleted. You're very low on tolerance. You're tired. Your chakras are blocked. Connection and communication has lessened down to where you may only can use your tarot cards versus using your abilities, your clairvoyance abilities to actually communicate, or using any of your other clairs for that matter. You'll be really, really drained, and you are ignoring those signs that you are tapping out. And the longer that you ignore these signs, the more that you ignore these signs, they will not only manifest spiritually, but they will begin to manifest physically in physical illnesses. And the longer that they reside in the body, the more trauma they do to the body. And this is where sometimes you will see people ending up with ulcers, cancers, and also mental conditions as well, because it has gone on for so long. When you are a spiritual worker and you are doing community work for the spiritual community, you are not to harbor any of the energy when you are exchanging healing with any people that you come in contact with. And unfortunately, a lot of the spiritualists out here will harbor that energy exchange. Oh, I did this. Oh, I did that. Oh, I helped this person. Look what I did. Versus using that energy currency and exchange for what it was at that point in time and releasing it so it isn't carried in the body, it isn't harbored in the mind, and it actually flows out. So when you are harboring all of that, the same way your body will harbor a lot of illnesses and eventually shut down and get sick and die. If you are spiritually in tune and aware and you see all the signs flashing, hey, we're getting depleted of energy. All of these people are still coming and coming and coming and coming. And now they're coming with dumb stuff that we don't even usually deal with. These are signs that you are becoming spiritually unprotected, unclean, and it's time for you to do your just dues and get your body back into alignment. One thing I need you guys to realize is us as healers, when it comes down to who heals the healer, we heal the healers. We have to heal ourselves. And what healing ourselves look like is actually having that fight to discipline yourself, to cut yourself off from the community itself, so that you can sit with yourself, for yourself, by yourself, to be self-sufficient and listening to what your ancestors are telling you needs to be healed in your body. You may have come in contact with so many different people that, again, in the physical realm, all of these different traumas, all of these different situations will induce stress. And when you are in stress, your body is at dis-ease. And this is where, again, a lot of diseases become manifested physically in the body. So, again, there are 1,000 ways your soul, your energy, your ancestry, your spirit guides, your team will let you know, hey man, your light is on and you doing too much. So what happens when you ignore all those signs and you still, oh, I got to do this, 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 because you're now hyper focused on what your mission is supposed to be versus allowing it to evolve into a bigger picture. Instead of actually remembering that as healers, we are to hold space to assist in healing. We are not going to be the people that actually heal you. That is your job. That is your responsibility. We are just to hold the place and space and give you the guidance to do so and to be able to do so effectively without interference, without anything else chaotic going on around you. Now, this is where the hard part comes into spiritual suicide or spiritual martyrdom. And this is where, again, people will talk about how, spiritually speaking, when sometimes you're going through an initiation, yes, the spirits will, or the ancestry will allow your body to fall ill. But what they tend to skip out, I see, is during the initiation, your ancestry will also leave you several clues on how to heal yourself, as to why there are so many herbs, so many different meditation techniques, breathing techniques. There are so many other natural healing avenues that you can utilize to actually realign those diseases for your initiation. But what is happening in the spiritual community is people are seeing their affliction and calling it initiation without actually doing their due diligence to heal themselves first before they start popularizing themselves out to the community. Therefore, when their body starts falling ill, starts getting worse due to unsolved or unresolved internal conditions, they will use that by saying, see, this is what I go through. This is what spirit has me doing, because I'm working for you guys. I'm working with you guys. You don't understand. And that's not actually true. This is where you start seeing people use their spirituality as another source of a cop out. Yeah. That does happen. They will be able to tell you about how to do Reiki healing to realign their energies. They will be very, open to herbs and learning how to use the herbs and things of that nature. But as far as applying it to themselves, they will not do this for themselves because they are so hyper focused or hypo focused on their mission of healing and dealing with the community that they do not take time to heal the actual healer that needs healing, which is themselves.